Hi everybody. My phone. I'm sure this system will work eventually, but it's not working yet. So I'll give it a minute or two for anyone who is trying to find me. It's another beautiful day here in the UK. Although cold, we had gorgeous weather that has now dropped. Temperature dropped dramatically, but it's still lovely and sunny. So, okay. Hi everybody. Helen here from Blended Therapy. I just wanted to share with you this morning something. I never know what I'm really going to talk about until a few minutes before I start doing these lives. Sometimes I wake up with an idea or a theme. But this morning, as some of you will already know, I've shared an article which I read from Forbes, big publication, about the fact that the countries that seem to be coping the best with the current situation have got one thing in common. They are all led by women. And it's following on very naturally from what I was talking about yesterday, about love. And I made a comment about divine feminine energy. And I wanted to just pick up on that for a moment or two before we go into sitting silently together. Feminine energy, masculine energy, these are not about being male or female, particularly in these gender fluid days that we live in today. Everybody, every being expresses both masculine and feminine energy. We have the opportunity, hey Monica, we have the opportunity to choose how we express ourselves, which form of energy we express ourselves through. This is way too big a subject to go into in a couple of minutes, so I'm not even going to try, but one definition of feminine energy as opposed to masculine energy is feminine energy is being, masculine energy is doing. So for many, many of us at the moment, we are being invited at this current time to move into that feminine energy of being. I completely understand that there are many people who are doing amazing work, whether that work is saving lives on the front line or stacking shelves in the supermarket. But there are also many, many, many of us across the world who currently are in a position to find that they are being more than doing. And that is moving us into our feminine energy. Don't get me wrong, feminine energy is not all about being soft and gentle. There's nothing tougher than a mother tiger defending her cubs. But in the context that I'm talking about, in the context that this article, which I will share a link to below this live, if you didn't already see it, was talking about, I believe what we're talking about is heart-led leadership. Coming from the heart. One of the things in that article that really struck me was that the Prime Minister of Norway held a press conference purely for children. No adults were allowed. And she talked to children and she answered their questions. And she told them it's okay to be scared. That's what we're talking about. I've been bowled over by Jacinda Ardern's premiership since she took office. And I think it's really important to make the point that to step up into a position of power in the world that we live in and to lead from the heart is incredibly courageous. To not do what is expected is really courageous. And the women that have been there before who have done the job like a man, I understand. I spent 20 years of my life in a business career where I behaved and worked and operated like a man as much as I could because I thought that was the only option. And yet, when I look back on that career, I realised that what separated me from my colleagues was the way I related to my team. And again, I'm not blanketing everybody I worked with in any way at all, but what I brought to my role came from my feminine energy. So I guess all I'm saying today is wherever you are, whatever your role is at the moment in this current situation, listen to your heart. Lead from your heart. And if that means doing something differently from the way it's always been done, but if you know in your heart that making that change is essential, do it. And let's see where it takes us all. So, with those words, either resting in your heart for you to process or releasing them to let them go if that feels better for you, I invite you to let your eyes close or just gently soften your gaze and rest your eyes downwards. And bring your awareness to your feet, whether you're sitting on the floor or on a chair. Let your feet connect to the ground, whichever part of your feet is in contact with the ground beneath you, until you feel a bit of a sense of connection, of engagement from your feet up through your legs, into your hips. And let your sitting bones rest down towards the ground, onto the ground or the seat. And maybe there's a little bit of a sense of freedom and release in the spine. Maybe your head feels as if it can sit a little more lightly on the top of your spine, balancing, not being held. And maybe your shoulders can release and soften a little, and your hands find their place, resting on your thighs or your knees or your lap. And simply bring your awareness to your breath in your body as it is now. Not trying to change your breath or breathe in any particular way, just observing with curiosity and kindness how your breath is moving right now. And when your mind starts to wander, which it always will, notice where it's gone. If you find it helpful, you can even label your thought pattern, planning, worrying, remembering, or whatever, and then let it go. And gently bring your awareness back to your breath. No judgment, no criticism. Just coming back to noticing. And maybe, as you sit, as you come fully into your own body through watching your breath. Maybe your breath starts to slow a little. Maybe you feel it coming a little deeper into your body. Or maybe not. Again, you're not trying to achieve anything. You are simply being. And in that space of being, sometimes we receive insights and understanding that maybe we wouldn't have heard when we're busy doing. And sometimes that space of being is simply to allow us to rest, even just for a few minutes. And each time your mind goes off, distracted by a thought, a sound, a sensation in your body, just notice where it's gone and bring your awareness back to your body. Reconnect to your feet, find that sense of connection, and notice how when our mind wanders, invariably we've lost that contact to the ground. As you reconnect to the ground, release the spine, the head in turn, the mind is given permission to still just a little bit more. And each time that your mind goes off, distracted, gently, kindly, let that thought go and bring your awareness back to your own breath. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As always, I invite you, if it feels right to you, to remain sitting silently for as long as works for you, or to release and to have a wonderful day. Male, female, whatever. See if you can be more in your feminine energy today and come from that heart-led place. See you tomorrow.